Hey, it's Nani, and welcome back to the second episode of the How I Fell in Love with Anime podcast. Today we're going to be, or tonight, if you're in Central Time, we'll be talking about the different genres of anime and what anime I've actually seen from it and what I remember of it, how far I got into it, and if I would rewatch it or continue to watch. So, basically, let's get started. We're going to start with vampire genre. There's not that many that I've seen, so this one's going to be a shorter episode than the others, but let's get into it. I have seen a little bit of Hellsing, the actual anime, and I like what I saw. It's just that I couldn't really get into it too much because it was a little too detective-y for me, and I wish there was a bit more gore into it because I actually love horror anime, and it seemed to have a good amount of gore in it, and it wasn't like overdoing on the vampire scenes, and I love that about it. But I've also seen the abridged version, which actually gave away a lot of spoilers for me. So if you don't like spoilers but you like abridged, this may not be the best thing for you. So watch the anime and then watch the abridged version because it's absolutely hilarious. And especially the abridged version from Team 4 Star. Shout out to them. I absolutely love them. And I would continue watching Hellsing, but I would most likely watch it at like a slower rate because I'm not that into the anime, but I'll still continue watching it because it was interesting. And I would always rewatch the abridged version like constantly. Recently I've seen it like 5 times, so that's telling you something. And then there's Rosario to Vampire. I have watched all of season 1 and some of season 2. I just couldn't do it anymore. It's just too fan service. It was too much. It was less about the story and more about like showing off the girls' bodies once we got into the second season, so I kind of stopped wanting to watch it. And I'm not going to continue watching it. I would rewatch the first season. It's not as cringy as the second season, so I'll give it that. But I would most likely continue to only rewatch the first season because the second season was too much for me. Other people that liked the second, that liked like all of it, I would actually recommend. I would, kudos for you. Sorry, I'm just kind of like trying to figure out my words. This is unscripted, so figuring out my words on how to proceed because these are my personal preferences, my own opinion about these animes, so I'm not telling you should not watch it, or it's trash, or it's super great and you end up watching it and not liking it and then coming after me. So this is my own opinion of these animes. I know that a lot of people have different opinions of anime, and I respect that. So continuing, I have watched Vampire Night and I have watched all of season 1 and season 2. I haven't gotten into season 3 yet, and I loved how season 1 went, and I bowled through that like quickly. I finished it within like 3 days of watching it, and I loved it so much that when I started on the second season, I was a little bit slower and kind of like getting confused because some of it is quite confusing, and I would be trying to figure out like how this developed into this, even though it shows how it did it. Sometimes there would be blanks and you'd have to like try to fill in the pieces. So that's kind of what it left out in the second season. I don't know how the third season would play out. And since it's been years since I've actually watched it, I would rewatch it so that I can remember like how everything happened, and then watch the third season so that I can get caught up on the progress. And then there's Shiki. Now that one's more horror-esque. It's kind of creepy. The vampires in there are kind of like true vampires. They get killed by stakes. They don't like sunlight. They are the definition of vampire. They're quite pale skinned, but the way that they die is kind of horrific, and towards the end it just kind of turns into a killing fest. So I'm not giving away too much, hopefully, but it's just kind of more on the horror side of the vampire spectrum. It's not too cute. It's not cutesy. It's kind of creepy. So it's kind of in that creepy horror-esque. So if you're into that, this is the anime for you. If you've already watched it and you like it, it's kind of like, hey, I like this anime. Yeah, I'm going to share this with other people. And I would definitely rewatch it. I have watched all the episodes, and I will continue to rewatch it, even though the first time I watched it, it kind of gave me nightmares. And I could not go to sleep for like a full 2 days. At least comfortably. I went to sleep in my mom's room. That was actually pretty funny, having to explain to my mom why I was sleeping in her room. Because of the anime scaring me. And then Blood Plus is also kind of a bit more gory. It's also a bit creepy with the monsters in there. It actually has some demon-esque vampires that aren't cute at all. The only ones that are kind of cute are like the pure bloods, not the turned ones, and those are very few and in between. So all you see is like the turned ones that are kind of monsters, and you have the humans versus the monster-esque vampires, and it's kind of thrilling. It's very mysterious, and there's a little bit of romance in there, but it's not too romantic. It's more like, hey, this is happening, but you're also trying to survive. It's kind of like that. And I have watched all the episodes. I will continue to rewatch it. And I love the main character, except she's a bit clueless. So I just feel like whenever I see her, I'm just so like, I want to shake her. I'm like, please, get it through your head. This is happening. And once she realizes that whatever is happening is happening, she gets it together. And then there's Blood Sea. That one is gory. Oh my gosh, it's gory. Like, it's not even gonna warn you. It just happens. It's all like, oh, okay, we're fighting vampires. Bam! Somebody's dead. And you're all like, what just happened? Sure, it tells you that it's a horror anime in the description. It tells you like what type of genre it's in. Vampires, demons. It has a lot of blood and gore, but I never thought it would be that intense on the blood and gore, or that intense on the killing. I was shocked. I was all like, Now, Blood Sea, I did not see all the episodes. I actually had accidentally on YouTube watched all of the deaths from Blood Sea. Got intrigued and started watching mostly the last part of it. So I kind of spoiled it for myself. I watched the first few episodes, and then the last, like, episode 11, 10 through 12 of the season, and I kind of spoiled it for myself. I would watch it all the way through, but it does kind of bore me a bit because it kind of has a slow startup, so I just start skipping around. I don't like being bored very easily, or having slow startups for a lot of animes, especially if it's supposed to be like horrific. I want it to just bam, give me all of it. And some people would think that I should give the anime a chance, but that's kind of how I am. I don't really like to have a slow startup to a horror anime, or for the killing to be too delayed. If it takes like 4 or 5 episodes for any like major any blood or gore to happen, I'm just kind of sort of just sitting there tuning it out. I will skip. And if I get to a part where it's all like the previous episode, there was actually a significant death or a significant thing happen, I'm going to go back to that episode and then be all like, okay, what I missed? What did I skip? And then watch that. And then I'll have to watch the ones that I actually missed. And that's where I actually start watching it episode by episode, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. But with Blood Sea, I did skip a lot. The next anime that I watched is Diabolic Lovers. That one's kind of, it's not ecchi. If anybody tells me that it's ecchi, it is not. There is no showing of any specific areas. There is no revealing. It is kind of has that the subliminal messages, or it kind of teases that this could be happening, or it could be more sexy than it really is, especially with how the vampires kind of act towards the heroine. So be warned about that, but it's not ecchi. It's never going to be. It's kind of like, it rides that line. It gets close to it, but it never touches it. It never touches it. It never goes over it. And I hate the main character. I hate her with a passion. Nobody's gonna be able to tell me otherwise. I do not like her. So just know, I don't like her. Don't like her. I have watched all the episodes. I have watched of season 1, season 2. I have not watched season 3 because I got sick and tired of season. At the end of season 2, I was already done. I checked out. I was kind of like over them fawning over this girl that's basically still clueless. After all the crap that happened, she's still clueless. So I was done. I was done with it all. And so I didn't watch season 3. I will rewatch season 1. I don't think I'm going to rewatch season 2. And I'm not going to watch season 3. I'm just not. I know what's going to happen for season 3. Or I know who's going to be involved in season 3, because they're constantly putting more and more vampires to be with this girl. And I'm all like, okay, alright, you're having your own harem going on, and I don't know if I'm okay with this, because you are annoying. You need to learn that this is your situation. Stop being so gullible, and stop trying to find salvation in a place in people that are not going to help you. They're actually going to make your situation worse. So, yeah. And then the last 2 animes that I've seen, and sorry, this genre is actually, I think, one of my least that I've watched, since this one doesn't really have that many. It has a lot in the vampire genre, but it doesn't have as many as, say, the action or adventure or the romance genre or even the shoujo genre. Those have a lot more, but then they kind of like overlap into other genres. So if you have romance, it's most likely gonna overlap into action or the shoujo or even adventure. So I'm not gonna really talk about those animes. The list is gonna be pretty big. So and once I get to those, those are gonna be, yeah. And then the last two animes that I've watched of the vampire genre was Karen. This vampire, she suffers so much just to be able to keep her secret. And the fact that she's actually a reverse vampire, if you read the summary, this is already told to you, so I'm not spoiling anything. She's a reverse vampire. Instead of giving blood, or instead of taking blood, she gives blood. And that's how she's able to keep herself from going crazy. They have certain preferences in blood. And usually it's connected to an emotion. Like you feel grief or you feel happiness or you feel sadness. Like if you're overwhelmed by that emotion, it attracts certain vampires, and then they have certain genders or if that they may gravitate towards. Like, hey, this man has more sadness in them. This man and woman have so much sadness in them, but because I don't like women all that much, I'm going to take the blood of this man or give the blood to this man. And that's how they kind of choose their prey. Or that's kind of how they get their urges to bite. And yeah, that one I watched all the episodes. I absolutely love it. I miss seeing it when I saw it on the list of anime for the genre. I was overcome with joy, and I love the opening so much that I started humming it in my head. I kind of started singing it out loud. I love the opening to it. If you listen to the full version, it's quite long. And it's really good. And then there's Dance with Devils. I watched a little bit of it. I've only watched like 2-3 episodes of it, and I've come to the conclusion I do not like it. I don't like how the vampires act. I don't like that it's also kind of like a musical type of anime. I don't like it because with every entry of a new group of new people, there is a song that they're singing, and it's annoying, and I kind of just want to get on with it. I don't want to hear a musical when I'm supposed to be watching a vampire anime. I don't want it to be a musical, and it doesn't put it as music. So I don't see why they have to be singing during all of this. I don't see it. Anybody that likes Dance with Devils, kudos to you. I could not do it. So I only watched 2-3 episodes, and I'm done with it. I'm not going to continue watching. I'm not going to rewatch the first 3 episodes. It took me a while to even get to the second episode to even want to continue to watch it. So yeah, no. So yeah, that is what I think about the vampire genre, what I've actually watched, what animes, how far I got into them, and if I would rewatch them, and then my thoughts on them, basically. If you have any anime in that vampire genre that I should watch, please just leave me a comment, or leave me a comment that says which anime, if I left any out, that I should try watching, and I'll I'll place an update on how it went and where I watched it. Most of these I have watched on Crunchyroll and Hulu and Netflix, and some of them I even watched when I was in college. Watched in college, to watch while I was in high school, and I absolutely love it. Alright, thank you. Signing off. Bye.